Barbatos and GM Sniper are getting nerfed, while Turn-A Gundam and Marasai are getting buffed. Guys, this is our first balance patch that they put out for us. I'm going to run through it, and I'm pretty excited about how things are going with this. So yeah, starting off, they just talk about how they're excited to have a lot of people and that the test was really good. And yeah, a lot. Cool things. So they want to talk about balance, though, and this is what this is about. Starting off with Gundam Barbatos, apparently. Honestly, they do need someone to help translate their stuff better, because this is not Google Translate. This is official. I just did another video on the Japanese version on accident before I found this one. So yeah. Anyway. So they talk about Barbatos having the highest win rate, and then Sosby and Pale Rider having the second and third highest win percentages, around 50%, which is, win percentages are weird anyway. But the issue was that Turn-A Gundam and Marasai were not countering Barbatos. That's what they think. Although the real issue is that stuns go through Barbatos or Sosby's shield and create some problems with that. That's something that they really need to work on, and I'm going to make a video about that and talk about that. But right now we're talking about this. So they claim that also Barbatos users only played Barbatos, and that's why they got good at it, or really, which is really broken. I guess that's really the reason. And then they say that the skill rating was too high and too low being placed together, so that wasn't good, and they didn't like that, which is good, because you don't really want to have that happen. You don't want, people pup stomping lower ranks, and lower ranks not getting to play against people who are their level so they can improve properly. So yeah. However, right here it says that they are changing the range of attack for the mace and the sword for Barbatos, which are its two slamming abilities. That's the biggest nerf that they're putting in. They're nerfing the range. The range was really, really strong and made it so you couldn't dodge it if you were playing like a one dash character. Like, you objectively couldn't dodge it if they were playing well. So that's really, really good that they're changing that. I want to see more changes to how it interacts with shields, but for now, this is really good. In the English version, it said that it's making easy slash, they're adding adjustments to the speed of the dash. So it looks like they're going to be potentially nerfing the dash. It doesn't say exactly what it means. I read through the Japanese version, and it also just says adjustments, but it talks about the boost jump, so the jumping ability. I guess it says boost step, so I don't really know. It's a little bit confusing, but probably what they mean is that they're going to nerf the speed of its dash abilities or nerf its jumping ability. It's probably what it is. So, and then here it says they just want to keep everything else the same about Barbatos. So, they don't want to make the character unplayable. Great. So Turn-A Gundam gets some buffs. Mainly we're looking at an increase of bullet speed when it's charged to the max, which is a buff, but I don't like it. Just because I liked the the projectile nature of it, and now it's going to be more hit scan, which is kind of lame, but I'm not going to complain too much. Tomoe Nage, which is the overhead throw, gets a reduction in time it takes to hit the grab and an increase in the movement speed. It shows it right here. It's quick. I'll show it a couple times. But you can see they grab at the same time, but the one on the right, which is after buff, throws a lot faster. So here it is again. Much faster throw. And I'll show it one more time. So grabs faster. It doesn't show the distance, but you would travel more with the new version of it. So, and then it says improve the usability of Moonlight Butterfly. So we're looking at a maneuverability change is got to be what it's be, because that's honestly the only thing that it really could be. So, yeah. Moving on to Marasai. Same thing. They're talking about how with Turn-A Gundam and Marasai, they're supposed to be counters to melee units, but they weren't consistent enough. And then it also mentions how its primary fire wasn't strong enough, and that's why they didn't. That's why I didn't get a lot of playtime, which to me is not actually the case. And it really needs to be tankier rather than just have a higher damage. Because with a higher damage, there's honestly not a lot of point in using the hook frequently when you could just click on their head a couple times and kill them faster than it would take to hook them. And it only makes certain characters like Sazabi and like maybe Dawn Trooper actually worth hooking, but that's beside the point. So they're buffing the primary fire. and they are going to be increasing the speed of the hook. It was a bit awkward, so this is a good change, but here it is. It's a lot faster. It hooks faster, and it pulls them in faster, it looks like. So that's a good change. They need to make these sort of things a lot more consistent and quicker and good, so that is definitely a good change. So GM Sniper, they're talking about how... oh, it's interesting. It doesn't actually say this in the Japanese version. It talks a lot about how the high level players are complaining about one shots and how that can be an issue. It doesn't talk about that here. It only says just in general, but reading the Japanese version, it was good to see that they're talking about, like, they're acknowledging different skill levels, because if you don't acknowledge different skill levels, you can't properly balance around each of them. It's hard to do, but you can balance the game in a way that every skill level can properly enjoy every character. As opposed to doing things like Overwatch did, where they make Reaper, that was garbage in pretty much all ranks, super, super OP in low and mid ranks by giving it lifesteal and making it just this murderous tank buster. Whereas in high elo, it was still garbage just because you could focus it down and they had to like turbo buff the everything out of it for it to become even decent. So anyway, for this, it talks about hit scan abilities were hitting headshots too easily, basically. It talks about hit scans in general and GM Sniper 2 in particular, which is really nice because it was way too easy to hit headshots in this game. I played Overwatch 2 yesterday and the network test, and in Overwatch 2 I felt terrible because I'm a main tank player, my aim's not that great. And in Gundam Evolution I felt like I was crazy. I felt like I was amazing. So they needed to adjust that, and they are, which is really, really good. It'll make the game feel a lot better. Additionally, it talks particularly for GM Sniper. So it looks like they're just going to reduce the critical hit rates, or sorry, not the rates, the size of the hitboxes of regular characters. And then if they need to do extra stuff, they're going to adjust the bullet size of specifically GM Sniper's bullets. So I knew they weren't going to take away the one-shot capability. They say up there that they're not going to take it away. It's too fun and too hype for a lot of people to use it. They're just not ever going to change it. But doing this at least is very good. So they say that there's more adjustments they want to make, which is good because there are more adjustments needed to be made. And a really big point here is that the console network test will not have these changes. It will be exactly the same as the PC test is, because they want to have the data maintained and be consistent. So, yeah. And they just say follow them on Twitter to be the first to know when registration opens up. So I'm hoping that means soon. It sounds kind of soon, but maybe they're trying to dodge Overwatch 2's timing anyway. So yeah. Things are looking good though for this. I'm happy with this. Of course, not all the changes I want to be made will be made. I'll make a video about what needs to be changed, and maybe they'll listen to me. But they are listening to everyone as a whole, which is really promising. So I'm happy with what we've been given so far. If you're looking for some other information about Gundam Evolution, make sure to check out my mobile suit guides. I have 6 of them out there, and they talk about the abilities, when to play them, how to play them, and their strengths and weaknesses in a nice small little video. Thanks, guys.